Hello! So for this video, I have some older Hot Wheels that I'm going to be unboxing, more vintage collection. I picked these up at a particular store in my area. That's also kind of one of the topics that's interesting, is do you share or disclose your location of where you buy cool cars, or do you not? It's completely up to you, and for this video, I'm just going to say I picked them up at a store in my area. But this also brings up the other point of the vintage cars, some of the blue cards. Do you open these or not? What is the collector value? What is the significance of them? For me, I'm going to open some of these because it's kind of like nostalgia, iconic, brings back memories. Even in the real life collector world, a lot of cars are being driven nowadays. They're not garage queens or trailer queens. They are being driven and appreciated. And I think that's something that the newer generation is starting to do. They are driving cars, they're appreciating cars, they're taking care of them. But that also adds to the story of the car. Some of the best known cars and the best appreciated cars in real life are racing vehicles that have been raced in countless races by famous drivers or who become famous drivers. And so a car that just sits in the garage all the time really doesn't collect a story. It's waiting for a story. So I'm hoping to make some stories out of these cars. I already have some stories that I'll share, but hopefully once the car is freed from its package, I can make some stories out of it. So first up will be the BMWs on this right hand side. I'll start with the BMW M1, the Street Beast. It says it's a 50s retro original. These cool old boxes. Good stuff. For a while back, well, let's say like 9 years ago, it was hard to find BMWs in Hot Wheel, and I had to find these particular older ones, and I did pick up some at that time too. I picked up some of the older kind. But in this case, they've started re-releasing BMW. It might have had to do with a licensing issue. I'm not entirely sure. So all I know is I was a big BMW fan. I still am a BMW fan, but I prefer my Cadillacs now. BMWs are still cool in my book. I like them a lot. And so I decided to pick up some BMWs when I was on this trip. The M1, obviously one of their supercars, racing heritage, and I really like this silver that this car came in. Sometimes they came in the wacky colors. I know my brother had a green one. My younger brother had a green one like this. And growing up, I had a strange taste as a kid. I knew what cars were. I knew all of them, but I didn't really know what they were. The pedigree, the lineage, how much of an icon they were, etc. So yes, I knew what this was, but I didn't really know what it was. And so once I got to college and I realized, oh hey, M1s are cool, and then I remembered my brother had one the whole time. Just kind of like the older Supras from the 80s. We also had those in Hot Wheel, but as a kid I didn't really like those. Your tastes change as you get older and you appreciate different vehicles. So this vehicle has that connotation and association to it. So yeah, BMW M1. Next up is the 850i. Now this is a beast of a car too. I remember coming in contact with them. Where I grew up was a little town in Ohio, and I didn't really get to see much in person. I did do a lot of traveling, so there was that. So I had opportunity, and I would always keep my eye out for cars on the road. But again, these are one of these things where you don't know it until you know it, and you can appreciate it later on. I came in contact with one of these cars in person, in real life while I was working a drive-through at Chick-fil-A. And a guy came through with this 850, and I was like, that is an awesome car. So I told him that, and he was like, thank you very much. And ever since then, I have never forgotten an 850, and I search for them in diecast as well as in real life. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, there is the 8 Series. Last up for the BMWs is the 325i. This car is interesting. I didn't really know Hot Wheels made it. So when I found it, I was quite jubilant because it's a very iconic car, obviously, the 3 Series. But what kind of perplexed me even more is on this one for Hot Wheels, the doors open. Now, I have heard that, I don't want to spread rumors or anything, but I have heard that this casting, the mold used to make it was purchased from another company right about that time frame. And that company had opening doors, so when Hot Wheels purchased that company and that mold, they made a few of these. Now, again, I could be wrong. I apologize. But again, it's a story. I don't want to spread rumors. I'm not that type of person. But I believe that's what I've researched. And if I'm wrong, comment, tell me. I understand. I will fully admit that I'm wrong. But it's a cool casting, and it's rare for Hot Wheels to have opening doors. I know they did do them. I know they did do them, but it's rare. And then this paint job doesn't do the car justice. Almost looks like one of those crash dummy cars from the early 90s. We all remember the crash dummies. So yeah, it's kind of like what it looks like. It's still a BMW though. I bought it. And now I'm liberating them from their packages. So next up is I'm going to open up the yellow Ferrari F40. This brings up a whole story, and I'm probably going to be blogging about this. I have a draft working up on the collector car market, both in real life and in diecast. So, some thoughts on that. Ferraris are obviously growing and holding value in many different areas. My generation, though, tends to be appreciating different Ferraris than the last generation. Specifically, the F40s, F50s. Those have been iconic for a while. 512s, etc. are starting to grow. Cars from the 80s. These were the cars that we put on our walls, were posters of these cars. And so, because of that, I started to want to get the die-cast versions of all these cars. And what better way than a Hot Wheel? But that brings up the topic. Try to find this, not in a store like this, but go online. I've been searching for the red F40s from the 80s, in the blue cards, and any of them. And they're really, really expensive. So the collector value in real life, I think, proportionately rises with the collector value in diecast. Try finding a McLaren F1 in Hot Wheel right now. Good luck. It's hard. I've struggled to find one of those, and I'm looking for one, especially one that I can safely say, okay, I'll put in a bid or something like that. If I could even find one, then there comes the price to it. McLaren just celebrated, its milestones with building certain cars and stuff like that. So even in the diecast world, the price is booming. Fascinating things. So I'll release this black Ferrari F40. I just wanted to collect them as many as I could. I really like the red interior on this one. So if I can get that. Man, that package glue holds up well. There we go. Got it out. And it's got that nice red interior. opening to view the engine bay. Collector car market, diecast and in real life. They are very, very closely related. Last up is the Viper RT10, probably one of my favorite cars growing up. I was a huge Dodge Viper fan. Not as much anymore. My tastes again change. But I love the blue card. I love how vintage this is. It's got the gold metal and speed with the gold wheels. And it's got the yellow paint job. I know there were some treasure hunts of this car in yellow later on, I believe. Could be wrong about that one, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. So yeah, breaking this car open is kind of fun. I mean, it's well over 10, 15, might even be 20 years old. Yeah, I guess it could almost be 20 years old. So, and it is free from its package. So, it's got such smooth paint. It's got a little bit of a blemish there on the hood, but the back is very smooth. So cool, freeing it after this many years. Will that drive the price up eventually? Will there be cars that are open now after so many years of being in a package? Will that decrease the amount of cars still in the package and then thus drive the value up? I foresee that happening. I see a lot of people liberating cars right now, and it's just like in the real world, there's only so many cars, even though there's probably thousands of these, whereas in real life there's probably not as many F40s or Vipers or anything like that. But even still, if everybody starts opening up their cars, clearly that will keep the ones in the package probably a little bit more valuable, a little bit more desirable, because that's untouched, unblemished, and more like the original barn find, so to speak, of a diecast. Whereas, or a Concours condition for the car. Whereas these ones could still be in Concours condition, obviously though without the package. So what's it worth? What's its value? I say it's what it's worth, and the value of it is to the person whose hands it's in. How much are they willing to spend is up to them. How much is the person willing to sell it? It's up to them. Can they negotiate and agree on a price? Those are between those people. Hope you enjoyed this video, and look forward for some more videos about these cars and many other cars.